Let me see, check.
Anyway, I really want to be famous. I was wondering if maybe you could help me out with that?
No way, Yahweh, there is no God.
Oh. I'm sorry. Who is this?
This is the Lord of the Underworld.
Oh, I must have the wrong number. I was trying to dial 7.
Well, I'm afraid you've dialed wrong, 'cause you've reached 666.
Wow. My mistake. But hey, since I have you on the phone, would you maybe consider becoming my manager? Or maybe you just have some advice on how to write a really big hit song. What do I do?
All you have to do is sing about me. Because the best way to sell art is with controversy. So let's all worship Satan together. It's just for business, not for pleasure. So let's all worship Satan together. It makes everyone's career so much better.
Okay, alright. I know what you're thinking. How could I ask the Prince of Darkness to be my manager? But look, all the stories you've heard about Satan, those are just rumors. You don't even know if they're true. And if Satan is really so bad, then why does he have so many nicknames? Where did those come from? He must have had at least a few friends. Oh, Lucifer, you old devil, you.
Let's all worship Satan together.
Okay, here's the thing. even when they're not all that great. People just love songs about the devil. But even if this song becomes a really big hit, makes a lot of money, Satan will get paid most of the royalties. You know, that was the deal. But to hell with it. I'm not even worried about anything anymore. Plus, I already sold my soul to the devil, so I could get into heaven.
Let's all worship Satan together. It's just for right now, it's not forever. Let's all worship Satan together. When it goes out of fashion, never mind whatever. Drank so much coffee today that technically I am on cocaine. I have multiple personalities, but they are all exactly the same. My psychic friend has short-term memory loss, so she remembers tomorrow like it was today. Yesterday I spilled mustard on my mustard-colored jeans, and today there's an invisible stain. Oh no, oh no, oh no, where'd it go? Oh no, the stain appeared without a trace, and that'll never come out. I know a couple of conjoined twins, but I'm starting to think that they might be the same person, because I've never even seen them in the same room together. Who the hell do they think they're fooling? I'm on to you. I can eat whatever I want. The calories don't count as long as I wear a disguise. Everybody has a birthday coming up, as long as they do not die. The revolution will be televised. In fact, you probably missed it, 'cause it wasn't really advertised. I am a pessimistic narcissist. I always feel empty, but I'm full of myself half the time. I know, I don't know, oh no, I don't. I am perfect, but not every time. Oh, I thought the song was done. I am perfect, but not every time.
My sister gave me her new phone number the other day, but I'm pretty lazy, so I just keep using the old number instead. The woman who has that number now is my new sister, and we talk every day. Luckily, they're both named Stephanie, so I didn't even have to change her contact information in my phone. Sometimes I think that my old sister is still trying to reach me, but I don't answer calls from numbers I don't recognize. But anyway, while I was on the phone with Stephanie, she said that she just started doing yoga, and she feels better than ever. She she said that I should try doing it too. And I never used to take advice from my old sister, but this time I thought, new sister, new me. But when I tried yoga, I pulled a muscle in my back. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. So I tried to call my doctor, but the number must have changed because some guy answered the phone instead. I said, can you recommend something for excruciating back pain? And he said, I think you have the wrong number. And I said, listen, you're my new doctor now and I need your help. What can I do to make my back stop hurting? And he said, I don't know. Have you tried doing yoga? I was so desperate for relief, so I tried it again. And this time, the pain went away instantly. It was incredible. So I called my new sister. I said, guess what? I did yoga. And she said, that's great. How do you feel? So I thought about it. And I said, actually, I feel about the same as before. What a waste of time.
Would you say if I asked you a rhetorical question, hypothetically? And what is the meaning of life? Tell me yes or no. That was a trick question. Or was it? I don't know. I don't have all the answers now. How could I when I don't even have all the questions? Ironically, I complain that I do not get sarcasm. Isn't that just great? I want to be a positive person, but that seems so unlikely. Sometimes I think my mind is playing tricks on me, therefore I'm always right. People say that happiness is a choice, but I can never make up my mind. And I know I'm getting older, 'cause now I'm old enough to remember being younger. And now I reminisce about nostalgia, 'cause it used to be better. What if the good old days never happened, but we just don't remember? The
Can you hear us? Not Zoom. Yeah, Twitch. Twitch can hear us. There we go. All right. Let's do this. Let's make a show happen. You guys, happy Monday. Happy 4th annual Insurrection Day. Happy January 6th to everybody. That's right, you guys. We are celebrating that monumentous moment in history with Sammy Insurrects the Hour. That's right. We were not happy with how the last hour was elected, so tonight, insurrection goes down. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. I am your tech tonight. I'm Annie Dies a Lot. And before we get officially into the show, I'm going to go over a few things that everyone can do at home to help the show go nice and smoothly. Let's see. The very first thing, if you are here in the Zoom room, now is a great time to go ahead, turn on your mics and cameras. We love hearing you guys laugh. We love seeing you guys laugh. Definitely helps a person feel like they're not performing into the void. That being said, we know it's the internet. If you want to stay anonymous, fine by me. Just do us all a favor. At the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a reactions button. Go ahead and use it. We can still see visually how you're feeling about it, okay? So definitely go ahead and do that. And thank you to everyone that does have their mics and cameras on. Mike Eckert's here, Lorna and Andre are here, Robin, hello, Trevor's here, Brittany's here, Sarah's here, Jess is here. We can all see Carly's living room. It's great to see all of you guys and everybody else that doesn't have their cameras on. Once again, no pressure, but definitely we won't judge you. Doesn't matter what your background looks like. We accept everybody in here. You guys, we have some really awesome comedy for you tonight, and we invite everyone to go hang out at all the different places. We actually do comedy 7 days a week, you guys. If you ever want to go check it out on Twitch, it's pretty easy. You can go to twitch.tv/Comedy Hub. That's where we're streaming over right now. Sarah Green is hanging out there. Dark Secret's out there. Abigail's probably lurking out there. You guys, we also have the world's worst AI comedian. That's right. If you want to talk to him, you just go at Laughing Larry AI in the Twitch chat and follow it with whatever you want to say to him, and he will tell you the worst jokes ever. He sucks. He's terrible. Feel free to berate him. Feel free. And let's see, Twitch, if you guys want to come hang out right in here with us, you're all invited. KOComedy.com. Go there. Sign up for the email. You'll receive the link for this show and all of our other shows, you guys. We've got great shows all week long. Tomorrow, it's going down. Anthony Capfer and Amber Irish are back with some digital slumber party. We've got sets with Dustin Chapin and Leah Bottom on Thursday. KO Friday with myself and Michael Majid. There we go. Names are hard some days. It's going down on Saturday. And yes, that is a cat in the background. You might see a few of them running throughout my background tonight. I'm a cat lady, you guys. I am a cat lady. That's it. There's nothing else to go after that. You guys, you are so welcome. Tonight is a free show, and we appreciate everyone being here. That being said, we still ask that you support everyone you see here tonight. During their sets, I'm going to go ahead. I want to flash everybody's Instagram handles, both on my screen and down in the chat. Give them a follow. Help that algorithm increase. See if they're going to be performing in a town near you, if there's new content out. So many good reasons to just give them a follow. Also, you guys, we won't say no if you want to show us some love. That's right. We do take, there it is. We take Venmo. Wait, there it is at KO-Comedy. We also take PayPal, KOComedyShows at gmail.com. And if you're watching over on Twitch, you guys, we take those bits as well. And if you're new here, fun fact, we don't just take your money. No, we're going to go ahead and give you a shout out. That's right. Tonight, it's looking a little bit like this. That's right. For $5, your name is going to go on Sammy Insurrecting the Hour with Stop the Steal signs. For $10, your name is going to go on Sammy as the Buffalo Guy. For $15, your name will go on my favorite person from the whole insurrection, dude that put his feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk. That's right. For $20, you get all of them together. And for anything over $25, you're going to watch Sammy Insurrect the Hour live. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And let's see, that's about it from me. The most important thing, though, you guys, is enjoy the show. This is a comedy show. You should be having fun. And that's it. I'm done. We're going to make some comedy happen. Are you guys ready for your opener? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Mike is ready, and that's all that's
This is good enthusiasm.
That's right. Mike is here for it. Mike, you're gonna be the voice that we all need right now. Okay, you guys, let's give it up for your opener tonight. You can follow him at Trevor Carrion. Give it up for Trevor Carrion.
Hello, guys. Hi, I'm Trevor Carrion. Yes, digital claps. That's good. Hey, first off, Mike, thank you so much for your livid enthusiasm. That was great. I like anything more than golf claps. Also, Lorraine, Andre, I would like it to be known that the gray sock on the face, that didn't escape me earlier. It was a crusty, dusty gray sock right down her face. For some reason, I think a bare foot is more sanitary to wipe down somebody's face than a sock somehow. It just seems a sock is way too intimate. Sock carries oils, it carries juices. You must love that person. That has to be the love of your life, Lorraine. For a gray sock too? I'm assuming it was white to begin with. That's a sad sock. Guys, thank you so much. I do want to thank Sammy for having me on this Zoom show. Notice how I'm putting my arm out like I'm on a stage. That's just reaction. I do comedy all over the country for hundreds of people, but somehow it's way more nerve-wracking doing it in front of the sheets that I haven't washed and longer than I'm willing to admit to any of you guys. That's all right. That's fine. I do live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been doing comedy in Tulsa, Oklahoma for the last 10 years. So I use any opportunity to pretend like I'm anywhere but Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, we're not known for great things. If you're in the market for, methamphetamines or really, really sad racial tension, you should come to my state, check me out, and then I'll liven things up with the comedy show. It's going to be a great time. I am in the apartment that I share with my wonderful girlfriend / landlord. She's a beautiful woman. I think I'm going to marry her pretty soon. That's exciting, right?
Yay!
Yes, digital improvement for love.
So
That's really
exciting.
good. Yeah, it is exciting. I never thought I would be able to settle down for one person. Never thought one person would be enough for me. But between my girlfriend and her multiple personalities, I'm basically polyamorous, y'all. She's crazy, y'all. She's crazy, but I love it. I found me a beautiful Latina woman. She's awesome. You should find a Latina woman if you haven't. Like, a Latina woman will make you feel like the Julius Caesar of your own kingdom. She'll care for you. She'll take care of you when you're sick. She'll make you food. And also one day you might get stabbed by your best friend.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. See, I tell that joke in Oklahoma almost every single week. Nobody gets that joke in Oklahoma. We're 49th in education. History humor doesn't land well here, if you can believe it or not. No, I mean, it's a good relationship. It's a good relationship because we're both getting really fat, both getting fat as shit. I don't care how much weight my girlfriend gains. She can gain as much weight as she wants. No such thing as too much titty. Absolutely no such thing as too much titty. You know what I mean? Right, Mike? You know what I'm talking about. Listen, I love smacking my girlfriend's booty, right? It's one of my favorite pastimes. But if we keep on eating Little Caesars at the rate we're depression eating Little Caesars, in a few weeks, I'm going to get a second butt right up in the front to smack. And I think that's awesome. That's 4 cheeks, y'all. That's 4 cheeks. That's pop, 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 pop. That's basically applause. I love that. I'm a comedian. That's great. It sucks because I'm also gaining relationship weight. And I'm gonna be very honest with you, Zoom call. I don't have that much penis to lose. It's just not there. Every single day that goes by, my dick is like a sail ship cresting the horizon. It's a very sad situation. All right, cool. Anti-flat earthers. That's fine. I used to be fat, y'all. I used to be so fat. The first dick pic I ever sent was to myself. Cool. Let's catch up on the logistics there. That's fine. Me and my girlfriend both are Latino, though. She's Latina. I'm Latino. We're both of Mexican heritage. She's a way better Mexican than I am. Like, if she's like a delicious, authentic bowl of pozole from a taco truck, I'm a gordita crunch ordered at 1:30 in the morning for fourth meal. It's a different kind of Mexican. She makes me feel very culturally insecure. You know what I mean? Like, her family is from Mexico. She immigrated here. Now she has an awesome job in corporate healthcare. And I'm so excited to marry this beautiful woman, partially because I love her so much, but mostly because I get to take advantage of that corporate healthcare plan that she has. I'm very excited about that. Weirdly enough, it'll be the first time in history an American has married a Mexican for their papers. So, my girlfriend's family hates that joke, but it's how we pay our bills. So they get over it. It's cool. It's awesome. I'm just not a good Mexican. I didn't do anything to become a Mexican. The only thing that happened that turned me into a Latino man was that my mother, she had unprotected sexual intercourse with her drug dealer. And now I'm on a Zoom call trying to make my dreams come true. It's very interesting, right? I thank you so much, Sarah. I saw that little nod. That's cool, man. I think it's a romantic story, right? Not everybody knows why they're here. Like, some people think they're here because their parents love each other, right? Most people are here because our dads failed at pulling out at least once, had a little too much fun. Now we get to exist, right? Not me. Yeah. I can confidently say that I'm standing in front of you, sitting at this Zoom call because once upon a time, a young girl wanted cheaper weed. And I think that's romantic. That's awesome. My mom was 17. My dad was a drug dealer. It worked out. It was a good situation. I don't like to talk shit about my mom. She's the strongest woman I know. She actually dropped out of high school when she was 17 years old. So I can go on, live out my dreams, graduate college. And when I was in college, my mom, she used to give me a hard time about writing my papers, right? She'd be like, boy, you better write those essays. You better do those essays. Not everybody has the opportunity to do essays. And I was always like, Mom,
that's it.
You totally had the opportunity to do essays. Hell yeah, essay, Vatos Locos forever. You know where I was going, dude. It was a different kind of essay. I was doing book reports over The Catcher in the Rye. My mom was doing Hector and my dad. It's a different kind of essay. All right, cool, man. I do live in Oklahoma. It's a very backward state. I didn't even know I was Mexican until I moved to Oklahoma. I moved to a tiny town called Ketchum, Oklahoma from Dallas, Texas. It was a little town of 500 people. It was so white. I was basically their black kid. It was not a good situation for me. It was dark, not darker than me there, but it was dark. Listen, one of the first memories I have of Oklahoma. Did you guys know that corporal punishment is legal in Oklahoma?
No.
Yeah, like your sixth grade social studies teacher can spank your child. I think it's crazy. I got spanked one time. I'm gonna tell you guys a story, right? It was in sixth grade. I was a little 12-year-old, and this kid came up to me and asked me what ethnicity I was, right? And I responded. I told him I was Mexican, and they told me, "Oh, that's cool. My dad calls you people wetbacks."
Oh my!
And I was right. It's awful. God. I didn't know what that meant at the time. I had no idea what that meant, but I knew it was bad. So I responded with what I thought was appropriate. I went, "Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna stab your dad in the throat with a fucking pencil." And so listen, I regret that. I regret that situation, not because it was a violent outburst of anger. I regret that situation because threatening to stab her was just reaffirming Mexican stereotypes. And we don't want to do that, do we? No. I should have threatened to shoot her like a white kid. All right, cool. Yeah. Anyways, she told on me. I don't remember what her name was. It doesn't matter. It was something ethnic. It rhymed with that dirty little rotten snitch. Anyways, she told on me. And now I'm in my principal's office, sixth grade little boy, 12 years old, in my principal's office, bent over his desk, waiting for this grown man to find out if I'm kinky or not. It's a strange situation, right? Picture it. I'm sitting there, right? Like this, right? Woo! Right. Thank you so much. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Okay? And my principal goes, "Trevor, you shouldn't have done that, boy. You done bad. You shouldn't have done that. You ready for this?" And I wasn't. I was scared, but I was a comedian even back then, and I wanted to take a stance. So even in my comedian brain, I knew I had to do something. So I looked back at him and I bit my lip. That man beat the hell out of me, y'all. That man beat the living daylights out of me. I don't think we should spank kids. And it's not because I'm traumatized by the event. It's not because I have PTSD or whatever. I don't think we should spank kids because my beautiful girlfriend / landlord is so tired of dressing up like a middle school principal every time we make love. You never know what kind of failure you're setting your kids up for. Oh man, I'm also a millennial. That sucks, but it makes sense of millennials doing Zoom comedy. That makes a lot of sense, I think. People give a lot of shit to millennials I don't think we deserve. They say we're lazy, we're entitled, we're selfish. That's all true, but I don't think we're the most entitled generation, right? I think the most entitled generation were the baby boomers, right? With their cheap gasoline and affordable housing and fentanyl-free cocaine. That's real entitlement, y'all. That's real entitlement. Listen, if I want to do cocaine as a 31-year-old in 2024, I have to wait for a friend I don't like that much to do it first. And then I just wait 15 minutes. Like, we partying tonight? Nope. Kyle's foaming from the mouth. We're gonna go home and play 4-player Smash Brothers without taking turns. It's not a bad situation. It's just you can't compare the generations, man. Like we all heard the stuff the old people complain about. Like, oh, when I was a kid, I used to have to walk to school uphill both ways in the snow. We've all heard that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to think about what my generation is going to say, what younger generations are going to say. Like, oh, when I was a kid, I clicked on a video link and I watched a grown man insert a glass jar into his anus. Sometimes when I go to bed, I still hear it shatter. All right,
Oh.
listen, that was our Vietnam, okay? If you ever wondered why millennials need a safe space, it's because Two Girls, One Cup came out when I was 14, all right? We were never going to be okay.
14.
14, yeah, those two Brazilian women soft serve machines traumatized a generation. You guys it was never going to be okay for us. You just let the internet babysit us and acted like it was going to be okay. My grandpa likes to talk shit about young people, like he likes to send me memes, right? Which is ironic in the first place. He sent me a meme the other day that said, the only thing it would take to take you young people out is a stick shift and a little bit of cursive handwriting. Which, yeah, all right. I heard that laugh, sir. It's real cocky from a generation who couldn't change the time on their VCRs for 35 years, all right? 12, 12, 12, 12. Send me an email, Eugene. Fuck off, all right? This is... Listen, I can't. My grandpa has 2 points of contention with the younger generations. The first one is the internet, right? He likes to talk trash about the internet. What are you going to do when the internet goes out? What are you going to do if the internet goes out? See my light, Sammy. What are you going to do then, huh? And I have a very clear game plan if the internet goes out. It makes me angry that he thinks I don't have a game plan. Like I haven't seen every single Mad Max movie that's ever been filmed, right? I have a very clear game plan if the internet goes out. I'm going to go to my grandpa's house and I'm going to rob him of his canned goods and ammunition.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
All right, cool. It's the apocalypse. He didn't save all that 9mm for himself, is what I'm saying. I got to murder my grandpa when stuff goes bad. He also likes to talk about our cell phones. I think like, oh yeah, what you going to do if your cell phone dies? And it makes me angry that he thinks we're useless without our cell phones. Mostly because I know for a fact that motherfucker uses a pacemaker. You know what I mean? My phone dies. I'm just bored. If that thing in your chest dies, so do you, dummy, you shitty Iron Man. You know, cool. All right, I'm gonna end on this. I told you guys my dad was a drug dealer earlier, right? Totally true. My dad was a drug dealer. I just didn't know to look out for the signs when when I was a kid. Like when my dad would pack me a lunch, but he would never pack me like a single sandwich in a single sandwich bag. It'd always be like a bunch of tiny sandwiches and a bunch of tiny sandwich bags. And it was all crust and sesame seeds. He was a terrible drug dealer. And I say he was a drug dealer, not because he turned his life around and got out of the game. I say he was a drug dealer because he's dead. Okay, listen, I feel everybody pull back here. I feel it in comedy clubs all over the place, but it's perfectly fine. Think about this situation. Think about this way. Every single time I make money for people laughing at these jokes about my dead drug dealing daddy, him and I get a bit more even on that child support situation. So I need you guys to laugh so much more, Zoom. I need 37,000 more people to send $10 before me and the state of Texas are remotely even. All right. That's not going to be all right. All right. Thanks for getting on board with those. The person that doesn't like my dead dad jokes the most is actually my grandmother. I'm talking about my dad's mom. She's an old Mexican lady. She doesn't speak English. I can talk about her dead son all I want. It's very convenient. I'm talking about my mom's mom. She's an old racist white lady. And she just doesn't like my jokes because she feels about my sense of humor is too dark, which is also how she feels about my skin. One story about my grandma, and I'm gonna pop off. When I was a kid, my grandma was sitting across the breakfast table from me when I was 14, and she looks me in the eyes and she goes, "You know what, Trevor? I don't have a problem with all of the different races. I just don't think they should be mixing," which is arguably a questionable thing to say to your mixed grandson over bacon and eggs, right? Right? It's perfectly fine, Grandma. I don't have a problem with racist grandmas. I just don't think they should be going to good nursing homes. All right, that was my time, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate you. You guys have been awesome. You made this not terrifying. I love you guys.
It up for Trevor Carry On, everybody. And don't forget to give him a follow, you guys, at Trevor Carry On. Just do it. Just do it. And don't forget, it's not Trevor. That's ER. Spell it right, kids. Spell it right. Thank you so much, Trevor. That was fantastic. That was fantastic. You guys, it is almost time for the insurrection of this hour to go down. But before we get there, I'm going to give a few shout outs because I promised that I would. So let's get to it. All right, you guys, here we go. It's the donor board. You guys give it up for Christina dropping $10 on the board. Christina, your name is now attached to Sammy's insurrectionist face. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Also, you guys give it up for Alan Weaver dropping $25 on the board.
Yeah.
Alan, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. Your name's going to be animated for the rest of the night. And you guys, also, give it up for William Reynolds dropping $15 on the board. William, that's right. You are now on Sammy's Sammy kicking back on Nancy Pelosi's desk. It just happened. It just happened. Are we supposed to turn our sound on? You know, you are fully welcome to. Everyone is welcome to turn their sounds on. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. That's totally fine, you guys. So you guys, we still have more time. If you want to see your name on Sammy's insurrectioning face, you can do it. It's pretty easy. We take Venmo at KO-comedy. We also take PayPal, KOcomedyshows@gmail.com. And if you're watching over on Twitch, we take those bits as well. And sometimes you guys ask, you might have sent it to a different account. That's fine. Just let me know. I'll play the honor system with you, and I'll still get your name up there. If you want your name to be anonymous, we can keep it anonymous. Just leave me a note with your donation. All right, you guys, we're going to get to it. It's time. It's time. Are you guys ready for your headliner tonight? Ready? Fantastic. Let's make it happen, you guys. He created KO Comedy. You can see him on Netflix's 100 Humans, and you can also see him right here, right now. You can follow him at Sammy Obeid. You guys, give it up for Sammy Obeid. Let's go.
What's up? What's up? Hello. Tuning in.
Woot.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how many years we are into Zoom technology, there's always going to be a delay. It's always going to take me 6 minutes to walk up the stage, even though I didn't leave my couch. Give it up for our fantastic opener, Trevor. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, he's obviously struggling. I mean, economy's bad. He's now marrying his landlord. It's getting really rough out there. And yeah, you know, times are times. That's for sure. I think we can all agree on that.
Times are times.
Yep, times are times. They're definitely not the times, right?
All right.
They're definitely not the times, right? And if you agree with that, times two. Let's go. All right.
Oh, not math jokes already.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, can't escape them. Can't escape them. Oh, tonight we're gonna get embarrassingly mathy. Yeah. So this is Sammy Insurrects an hour. This is the first time Insurrects has ever been used as a verb. So we made history tonight. Insurrection's a thing. I think that's it. I think that's where it stops. Insurrection. There's no insurrect. There's no insurrects. There's no insurrecting. There's no reinsurrected. So we are doing all of that tonight. Yeah, I'm taking back that word. I'm taking back that word that had a definition all along, but really had nowhere on the social map until January 6th. And so I wanted to know what insurrection meant, and so I looked it up. I'm not actually looking up right now. I'm recording my audio. Insurrection is a violent uprising, a violent rebellion or uprising. Now, something stood out to me because the word uprising, there's a word for that in Arabic. It's intifada. Okay. And the word intifada has, in the recent years, become largely stigmatized because Palestinians use it to describe their resistance to occupation. And in fact, there was a House bill passed last year. They're trying to make the word illegal in the United States, the word intifada, which just means uprising. So all I'm saying is, if they do make the word intifada illegal, I'm just going to say Jan 6. So for the record, Palestinians have the right to Jan 6. And for me personally, I love Jan 6. I don't care about you. Listen, there was a cop who, I believe, a cop/security person who died that day. Let's mourn that person's death. And then in every other respect, it was a fucking great show. There was like 3 people who died because they got a heart, and it was like people who were there participating in Jan 6. They died because they had a heart attack. Like they shouldn't have ate Arby's before the thing. That was on them. Okay. So that happened. Let's mourn them too. Okay. But aside from that, it was just a huge flex on the government. And the beautiful thing, it was, I believe it was like 99.9% white people, which, you know, it was a nice day for people of color to take a break, you know what I'm saying? And I call it the day of white terror, and it's a beautiful thing. And it really just shows that terrorism can be inclusive. Okay. Yes. So yes, there is a happy ending to Jan 6th, and that's why I'm pro Jan 6th. And I'm gonna Jan 6 this hour because yes, I I didn't like the last hour I did. Very dark times. It was right after the election, and I usually do an hour every month, and I couldn't do one last month because I was on the road. So I did write an hour last month, but I released it all on YouTube, so it's all gone. But if you want to look it up, I wrote a poem for Luigi, a lot of amazing stuff. But I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm doing the new stuff tonight. But if for those of you, by the way, first of all, who's a first timer joining this Sammy Does an Hour program?
Me.
Thank you. Thank you for the first timers. Appreciate it. We hit Annie, we hit 65. I think that's the new record. 65. That means I can retire. So
yes. We can all retire now.
I believe we both officially have Medicare after this, Annie. Oh, look at that. People just came in the door right as I was saying 65. We jumped up to 67. Can we get two more? Come on now. No, come on. Let's not Jan 69 just yet. But listen, we are celebrating. This is the new year. I do an hour every month, and I really thought I was special. I thought I was the only comedian out here doing this. And then recently, I became aware of another comedian in the scene, really, really funny guy. And I've been aware of him for a while, but I didn't know he was doing this. But he's been doing like a new hour almost every week, and he's been posting it on YouTube. Really funny stuff. His name's Josh Johnson. Really, really funny guy. He's doing topical stuff, and he posts on YouTube, and he's working very, very hard. And I totally respect the craft. But since he kind of emerged and people have become aware that he's been doing this, I've been getting a lot of comments on my videos. I swear to God, I'll see this like once every day. Somebody will comment like, I love Sammy Obeid. He's my second favorite comedian after Josh Johnson. I swear to God. People are out there literally posting, I love you, Sammy Obeid. You're my second favorite comedian. Okay. Respect to Josh Johnson. Respect to his fans. But as a direct to my fans, I'm sure there's a lot of second favorite fans here also too. But to any of my first favorite fans, my tier one fans, please don't go out there doing that to other comics. Don't tell them. Don't tell them what place they're getting after one. No, actually, do that. Actually, you know what? Actually, I changed it up. Do that. But we all have to do it in a cohesive effort. You know what I mean? So basically, either nobody do it or everybody do it. And yeah, that's how careers are built. Word of mouth. You are the mouth. I am the word. So just go out there and go out there and be like, hey, you're my 3.14th favorite comedian after Sammy Obeid. It'll be a thing. It'll be a thing. Okay. But I guess it goes without saying we are in 2025, I believe. Allegedly we're in 2025 I have not seen the actual proof for this. And of course, 2025 starts and everyone is sending me the memes, videos and stuff like, oh, look, 2025 is a math year, Sammy. You would probably like this. It's got all these special math properties. I'm like, yeah, it's a number. Okay. Numbers have mathematical properties. 2024 was a fucking wild number, but you never talked about that. Okay. The reason why everybody's talking about all these crazy number tricks for 2025 is because they're simple enough for people to understand. The first one being is 2025 is 45 squared. Okay. That's cool. It's a perfect square. So am I. Great. Okay. It's 45 squared, almost as if the 45th president was going to get a second term. Let's not go there. Anyway, yeah, math is fun until it gets real, huh?
No.
But yes, another property of 2025 is it is the sum of the first 9 cubes. That is 1 cube, which is 1, by the way. Plus 2 cubed, plus 3 cubed, plus 4 cubed, plus 5 cubed, plus 6 cubed, plus 7 cubed, plus 8 cubed, plus 9 cubed equals 2025. This is not that fascinating. Yeah, it's not that crazy. There's a property in math that says if you want to know the sum of the first n cubes, it's n times n plus 1 divided by 2 in parentheses squared. There's a formula for it. The sum of the first 8 cubes is actually it's 1296. So 1296. That was a crazy year. The year that England invaded Scotland. right? You know, yeah. Did you watch Braveheart? It was a big year, right? And who would have thought the next one would be 2025? And then the next time there's going to be it's going to be the sum of the first 10 squares is 3,025. So I guess 3025 is what we'll call it. We'll call it 3025. And that actually, I don't know if you know this, it is the year that planet Zanzar invades Earth and joins Earth's leader, Elon Musk. Yeah, isn't that crazy? He's still going to be live in 3025. Ooh, all right. Good. Well, I'll tell you what, I personally am enjoying the MAGA so far. MAGA stands for men arguing about government authority. It was really hilarious. You can see the rift starting, and you can see how much influence Elon has already made over Trump. Like Elon basically owns Trump. He basically owns stock in Trump. Because if you've paid attention to Trump over the years, the thing was that people say, oh, Trump's a wild card. He does what he wants. Kind of. He kind of does whoever's talking in his ear at the time. And Elon put a shit ton of money into Trump. And so Trump has to now kind of follow suit. Because recently there was this whole discussion about immigration and H-1B visas. You guys follow this story at all? But basically, Elon is pro H-1B visa, which makes sense because he was an H-1B visa. A lot of people have accompanied H-1B visas. H-1B visa is basically where really smart people from other countries can, really gifted people from other countries can get basically citizenship accelerated in the United States and stuff like. He wasn't an H-1B visa, but he is a fan of H-1B visas. He was a person who got accelerated because of his status. So he wasn't an H-1B visa specifically, but he was that prototype basically. And so he's pro H-1B visa. And this came out on Twitter because a lot of MAGA people are just generally anti-immigration. So they were shouting, whatever, they don't like the H-1B visas. And Elon Musk, I thought, was very diplomatic. He said, you can take a step back and fuck yourself in the face if you don't like H-1B visas. This is more presidential than Trump, actually. This is another level. I mean, I thought grabbing by the pussy was hard. Oh my God. Take a step back and fuck yourself in the face. And this is the guy telling everybody now to be nice on Twitter. But basically, the interesting thing, and first of all, I don't disagree with Elon on this. I think that gifted people should, be fast tracked in the United States. I think it's a value add for everybody. I think the system itself is probably corrupt and has a lot of problems and stuff. But the funny thing about it is that Trump and Vivek Ramaswamy specifically were both very, they both made statements against H-1B visas, like in the recent years. And suddenly, after Elon goes pro H-1B visa, suddenly they're talking like Trump he made a statement. He said, I don't like the system. We're going to overhaul it. We're going to change it. And then after Elon made a statement, there was a few days of silence. And then Trump came out. He's like, no, I love the H-1s. I have a lot of H-1Bs at Mar-a-Lago, which is like not very true. Like he has regular visas, not H-1B visas. But he's like, I love the H-1s. I love the H1N1. I love the bird flu. I love the HVAC. I love the HIV. I love the Triple H. Where are all these H's coming from? Across the border, because Sleepy Joe's letting them in. Why are all these words losing their H's? There's a lot of words with no H's right now. It's a problem. It's a huge problem. I'm not working on my Trump impression this year. I'm not going to waste my time on that shit. But yes, basically, he suddenly became all pro H-1B. And then Vivek did the same thing. Vivek was caught on camera. Vivek is an interesting guy to me because I like some of the things that he says, and I detest a lot of things that he says too. But I think I wish I could just see him in sandals more often because he flip-flops so hard. But yeah, you thought it was going to be racial. And it wasn't, but yeah. So Vivek comes out and he posts on Twitter, and he's like, all right, guys, we need to take a look at the bigger picture and take a look at the C word culture. It's like, all right, save the misdirects for the comedians, right? And he said basically implying that Americans are like, he wrote this like 3-page post saying that like Americans are too lazy and celebrate mediocrity. And I would have been outraged as an American, but I only read like half of it. And he basically said, and he was like so out of touch what he was saying. He was like, you know, if kids stop spending all their time at the mall, like what is this, the fucking 80s? And he's like, maybe if kids stop worshiping Corey from Boy Meets World, like who the fuck watches Boy Meets World? Like Gen Z does not watch Boy Meets World. Gen Z has not even met World yet, okay? And Gen Z doesn't identify as boy. Gen Z's show is they haven't met World, okay?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't disagree with what he's saying, because really is what he's saying is true. It's like Americans do celebrate mediocrity when it comes to work ethic. Like we do like to think we're the land of hard work, but we're not. Like if you are a hardworking person in America,
other people's hard work,
who has like 3 jobs and works the shit, I respect you and kudos to you. I feel like I'm second place to Josh Johnson, but I feel like I am also a hard worker too, and I think that we should celebrate that work ethic. But if you compare yourself to somebody in China, okay, make friends with somebody in China. You are not a hard worker, okay? If you want to feel like a hard worker, make more Canadian friends, okay? Make more French friends. Dude, they go to Europe, they only work like half the day, okay? They literally have sleepy time in the middle of the day, okay? So yes, by Canadian and European standards, we are hard workers, but by most, Asian countries, we are not. And we do celebrate media. We expect the hardest, most gritty jobs to be done by somebody else. So there is a cultural work ethic problem. And people always say, oh, it's the immigrants are coming and taking our jobs. No, employers are giving away those jobs. Like the employers are always going to give the jobs away to people who work harder and are cheaper labor. So as long as that's the case, they will be continuing to giving jobs overseas. You can slap taxes on them. You can make penalties on companies that don't play by the rules. They're going to find another way with harder workers overseas. So it really is a cultural problem that we need to lower our standards and work harder. But as an American, nobody wants to do that. So let's just keep smoking weed and chilling. Okay. That's what Vivek said. He said we're a culture that focuses too much on chilling. Okay. But yeah, he's not wrong. Anyways, listen, we do have this problem. Like New Year's resolutions, for instance. New Year's resolutions. We make New Year's resolutions and we carry them out for like what, a day? Right? Case in point, 2 terror attacks the first day of January and then silent. You know what I mean? Okay. Listen. Maybe not the best comparison. Okay. Okay. Were they terror attacks? I would say they are. It's an interesting thing, though. You have this, guy in New Orleans who drove into a bunch of people, killed a bunch of people. A horrible thing. I would call it a terror attack, right? And then you have a guy who drove up in a Tesla Cybertruck to Trump Tower, fucking exploding in front of a bunch of people. I would call that a terror attack too, because I am consistent. Okay. Now, if you look at the FBI's statement and you look at the news, they have officially concluded that the New Orleans attack was a terror attack, but they're still not sure about the Tesla guy. Now, I don't want to be the one to make the obvious statement, okay? But look at the hue of skin of the 2 different attackers. Okay, yes, definitively, the New Orleans guy, he actually killed people and he had an ISIS flag, okay? But this guy drove up and exploded the car. Like, if anybody was right next to the car, they would have died. Like, they would have been killed. But they're not calling this guy a terrorist. I'm saying it's because he was white. Both of these guys were active service members, so clearly we know that doesn't deter somebody from calling someone a terrorist. An active or a former service member can be called a terrorist if they fit certain criteria. But look at the news. Look at the news right now. The news is we have a terror attack in New Orleans, and we have a guy, we're not sure what his intentions were, but he definitely had some mental health issues. Bro, mental health. There's no discussion of mental health of the New Orleans guy. The guy went through 3 fucking divorces. Does anybody want to talk about that? Not 1, not 2, 3 fucking divorces. And I'm not defending him. He's a fucking psycho terrorist. Fuck that guy. But he went through 3 fucking divorces in the last 3 years. And there's not even 1 comment on his mental health. Meanwhile, this guy drove a Tesla and exploded firecrackers thinking that was going to take down Trump Tower. Maybe we should be questioning his mental health too. Yes, obviously. Okay. Now, before you sit back and fuck yourself in the face. Elon again calmed things down by making a great statement about the Tesla attack. He said, this idiot chose the worst vehicle to do a terror attack in. Everybody knows the Cybertruck is going to contain the explosion and direct it upward. And people were outraged about Elon's tweet about this. I would say it's pretty on brand. And shit, I would probably say that too if I were the owner of Tesla. But like, it's hilarious how cocky that is. You know what I mean? Like let's keep that energy. Can you imagine if they did that in 9/11? Like after 9/11, the CEO of Boeing is like, dude, the 757 is like the worst plane to fly into a tower. It can't even. The thing breaks when you drop it. It's not going to break a tower. You would need like explosives lined up at every level. There's no other way that would work. You know, can you imagine if like after the Boston Marathon bombing, like the mayor of Boston was like, dude, the Boston Marathon is the worst place to bomb. Like the runners don't care what happened. You know, can you imagine after Benghazi, like the Secretary of State was like, I didn't even know that was going to happen. You know, we're all
as the kid goes to the roads, man.
Listen. Benghazi, old news. All right. But you get it. You get what I'm saying. It's just, it's interesting how quickly, and you've already heard me rant on this whole terror, mental health thing. But yeah, I was divorced 3 times. Let's see. We're officially in this in this time in time. It's the times of the times, right? We are officially in these times where whenever you see something, your first question now has to be like, okay, is this AI? Right?
Yeah.
Every fucking thing you see, you'd be like, oh, step back. Is this AI? Right? Like your partner comes up, says, I love you. Hold on a second. You know what I'm saying? So we're already in this kind of surreal phase. I can't tell honestly, when I scroll Instagram, I can't tell what's fucking AI and what's not anymore. I really can't tell. I'm not even worried about AI taking our jobs. I'm worried about them taking our memories, you know? But there was a man who was killed here in the Bay Area where I am, who worked for OpenAI, and he lived in San Francisco. And he was essentially a whistleblower. He called out a lot of things that OpenAI did. OpenAI is Sam Altman's company, and he basically called out a lot of the shady shit that they did. And he was murdered in his apartment. And they said it was first they said it was a suicide. This is how you know it's suspicious. At first they said it was a suicide, but then there was clearly signs that he was attacked. And was basically held at gunpoint and killed. And his drive that had all of this data and evidence that he was going to use in the case that he was about to have disappeared. Yeah. So it's a murder. But dude, the media is not reporting on it at all. So I do what I always do when the media is not giving me enough. I ask ChatGPT. Okay. ChatGPT made by OpenAI, by the way. So I go to ChatGPT. I said, why was the OpenAI whistleblower killed? ChatGPT says, we know nothing about this. We checked our records up to 2021 and we have no evidence of anything. And it's actually, you know how ChatGPT sometimes tries to give you like moral advice? And like, hey, be careful about insinuating the whistleblowers were killed. It's kind of, those are hefty accusations. And then, but then if you put like, hey, what about the guy who used to work at OpenAg committed suicide? And they're like, yes, this guy committed suicide in his San Francisco apartment. I'm like, all right, I see what's going on. Pretty fucking clear. Okay, let's see here. Last year I was really exclusively focusing on what was happening in Gaza and the liberation of Palestine, or you could call it tunnel vision.
You could.
You could. And I assure you there will be more of that content this year. It's just we're kind of in a stalemate right now. We don't know what's going to happen with the Trump presidency. I mean, everybody wants to say it's going to be worse. I don't think it is. I think it's already as bad as it's going to get. Biden just gave $8 billion to Israel. You know, the place is already leveled, and let's just hope for the best. But I'm holding on material about that because we're in this kind of holding phase. Now, I will say a couple weeks ago, I was in Denver and I did 2 shows in one night. Take that, Josh Johnson. And and during the first show, I came off stage and I got news that the Bashar al-Assad, the leader of Syria, had been overthrown. And then it was crazy. I was like going through it and like trying to get more information. And then I went on stage again for my second show. And then I got off stage. And then I looked at the news, and the news said that Israel was now occupying parts of Syria.
Yes.
So yeah, in case anybody ever asks, like, hey, how long are your performances usually? About a regime change. So always check. Yeah, always like, yeah, after the show, like make sure you know who's ruling Venezuela because it may have changed. Okay. Now, the Syrian situation is very complex. It's been complex for many years. I'm not going to drone on and on about it, but bad pun. But the overthrowing of Assad, I think most people can celebrate that as a good thing. If you ask people from Syria, most of them detest Assad. Yes, every dictator is going to have its stands. You know, I'm sure there's people who are like, no, look at those hot shirtless pics or whatever. Listen, Assad was bad for the Syrian people. You also hear people being like, no, Assad's regime was going to be better for Palestine. Like, no, motherfucker, it was not. Like, it led to the worst. He was bad for his people. He's bad for Palestine. He's gone. Celebrate that Assad's gone. As the kids would say, he's cooked. Okay. He's carne asada. Okay. So,
Oh, God.
now, obviously, that doesn't mean that whatever regime has, taken its place is any better. Okay. Basically, there's one massive coup going on involved with Turkey, Israel, and the U.S. are basically just carving out parts of Syria, like Turkey. But we also know that some of the, Syrian a lot of the Syrian rebels who did this overthrow are homegrown Syrian rebels who literally want liberation for the people, and that is awesome. Okay, but we do know there is also some Al Qaeda influence. It's like Al Qaeda rebranded, though. It's like we're new Al Qaeda. We use pronouns or whatever. You know what I mean? We're like we're Al and Il Qaeda. We're like we're they them Qaeda. You know what I mean? And then there's like new ISIS, there is some people who are involved in ISIS but they're like, we're new ISIS. We don't do beheadings anymore. We just blow your mind with crazy ideas. And yeah, it's scary. And people got upset when I reported that Israel was occupying Syria, because people were like, no, that's not true. Israel's not occupying Syria. Don't make up stuff. Like, they're occupying parts of Syria. Like, that is a verified fact. Like, if you occupy a part of a country, you are occupying a country. Like, if you put your toe on my toe, I'm going to shish it off. Okay. So occupying is occupying. Okay. And sometimes people get mad when you say, oh, this country's occupied. What do you want me to say? They're busy. Okay. So, so Syria is getting busy. Now, obviously, another thing we can celebrate, a lot of Assad's political prisoners were freed in this rebellion, and that's awesome. Although a lot of it was theatrics. I don't know if you saw, there was a staged CNN release of a Syrian prisoner. I forget the actor's name, Clarissa, whatever her name is, Clarissa, who's now really overcompensating on Middle East stuff because she got chewed out at the Gaza border a year ago by an activist who I know who basically chewed her out saying she's not reporting correctly on Gaza. And then she now, yes, Clarissa Ward, and now she's like championing liberation in the Middle East. And so she goes to Syria, and they do this staged prisoner escape scene. It's totally staged. Anybody watch it, you know it's staged. But like basically she goes in, they have Clarissa, she's like, I'm gonna go into this jail cell and see what we find. Like, motherfucker, you would not let Clarissa Ward of CNN do that. Okay. There's a lot of line of people who would go in there before, but she goes, let's see what's going on here. And then you see a blanket with like a big lump under it. Like, I wonder what's under that blanket. And then a guy comes up, and it's like the first time he's seen light in years. And he's like, wait, before you say anything, do you have water? And then like, you can hear by his voice, like he just drank water like 5 minutes ago. He's like, do you have water? Do you have water? And then they stage this whole release thing, and it's just, and they air it, and people call it out as bullshit. And then they later took the video down. But like 3 days later, they were able to find a picture of this exact guy who was in this stage thing. He was one of Assad's military advisors from the year before. So you literally saw this guy working for Assad, and then obviously Assad shakes. And so he's like, hey, what kind of deal can I work out so you guys don't arrest me? They're like, well, you're going to pretend like you're prisoner number 763. And the whole idea was to make it like anti-Assad propaganda, but you don't need anti-Assad propaganda. If you know about Assad, that's already anti-Assad enough. They were trying to make like, oh, see, the Syrian people are getting freedom now that Assad's gone. And it is. In fact, that video turned out to be anti-Assad propaganda because it shows that now Assad's gone and he can finally pursue his acting career. So, so there is that. Okay. All right. Let's see. I should just do one more thing before I go to intermission. I'm beginning to realize how I don't take criticism well. You know, and because people will say things like on YouTube, like not funny, and I'll be like, go take a step back and fuck yourself in the face or whatever. I'll stuff like that. And people are like, wow, you don't take criticism well. And I'm like, yes, I will admit this. I don't take criticism well, but in my defense, I also don't take compliments well. So it even things out. Yep. Yeah. When people say I hate you, I'm like, fuck you, asshole. But then when people say I love you, I'm like, get the fuck away from me. So I don't take either well. But I've realized, I realized that I'm sensitive to this because I knew it got bad when a friend of mine sent me an email and she's like, take this quiz. And it was like, here's a quiz to find out if you're a highly sensitive person. No. And so my thoughts were obviously like, fuck you, you know. But I immediately took the quiz and I got a perfect score. I don't think I've ever got a higher score on any test I've ever taken. And I'm a 4.0 math major. Apparently I am the most sensitive person, but I only have certain things that I'm sensitive to. I'm sensitive to bright light. I'm sensitive to loud noises. I'm sensitive to certain foods, and I'm sensitive to words that I don't like. Okay. And that's my fourth thing. I'm not sensitive to all words. I'm sensitive to words I don't like, words on bright signs, words that are spoken too loudly, or words that are written on cake that are gluten intolerant. Okay. So not all words, but I would, there's this whole stigma about being sensitive. Everybody's fucking sensitive. You just have your own thing that you're sensitive to. Okay. That's all it is. Find your sensitivity, whatever it is. What is yours? Whatever. Smells. Good. Smells. See, and I don't mind smells that much. Okay. I'm fine. My nose is plugged up most of the time. Okay. But I'm very sensitive to criticism. Somebody recently commented on one of my posts that said, this is not your best.
Oh.
Okay. That pissed me off so fucking much. Because not your best is there's an implied niceness to it, which is like, I'm not going to say this sucks. I'm going to say, I'm aware of your best and this ain't it. And it's hurtful because first of all, it implies that you've seen me at my best and I've now fallen. You know, it implies that historically I've reached best and now I'm not best. But also it's like mathematically so fucking dumb because it's like I can't always post my best. Because if I only post my best, I will just have made one post.
True.
That's how best works.
Yeah.
Best means better than everything else. If I post my best, that means I've just made one post. Now you could say, well, you want to post things that are better than your last post, so this is your new best. Okay? Yes, but then it makes you go look back at the other stuff and you say, this is not So that's when I realized that I needed to take a step back and fuck myself in the face. All right, let's take a quick intermission. I'm going to get some water real quick. I'll be right back.
But you guys give it up for Sammy. Oh, he will be back in just a moment. That's right. Now is a good time for a quick bathroom break or refreshment break. And while we're doing that, you guys, I'm gonna give a couple shout outs because I promised. So let's do it. Let's get into that donor board, you guys. You guys give it up for Ali Wete. Thank you so much for dropping $10 on the board. Yeah. Your name is now attached to Sammy's insurrectionist face. Oh my God. Also, you guys give it up for Kara Prentice, dropping $40 on the board. Kara, thank you so much. Your name is going to witness all of the crazy things that Sammy did this insurrection day. And you guys, the night is far from over. If you want to get your name on there, it's pretty easy. We take Venmo at KO-comedy. We also take PayPal, KOComedyShows@gmail.com. And if you're watching over on Twitch, you guys, we take those bits as well. And if you do want to stay anonymous, it's very easy. Just leave me a message with your donation, and I will keep your name a secret. Oh, and let's see, you guys, while I have you here, we do this every day of the week, you guys. We have comedy shows all week long. So if you ever want to come back, you're always welcome. You can find all of our information over at KOComedy.com. Just sign up for the email. You'll receive an email blast every week telling you when our new shows are going to be and what they're going to be. We can also watch over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Comedy Hub. That's the way you can watch over there. And yeah, everybody's welcome. You can also check out our socials, KO Comedy Club over on Instagram or KO Comedy over on Twitter. Yeah, we still post stuff up there. We do it. And yeah, you guys, I think that might be enough for me. If Sammy's back, we got to wait for Sammy. Sammy's the most important person here, you guys. But yeah. Let's see. This week we've got KO Friday is back with Michael Majid. The after party will be going down afterwards. I think this week is Bianca Red will be hosting trivia afterwards. Can I repeat the Venmo handle? Yes, it is KO-comedy. Put that over my screen. I'll also drop it down here in the chat real quick. Here we go. Bam. There it is, you guys. I think that link just takes you to our website, but you can type in KOComedyShows@gmail.com. There we go. Things have been done. There it is, you guys. You're driving home. Be safe. Be safe. That's the best part about these shows is you can totally be in the car and just listen to it. I mean, Abe, I've been watching you earlier tonight. I don't think you're up anymore, but Abe's been like making stuff. You guys, have you noticed that? Like t-shirts? Abe, let me know. I want to know what you've been working on tonight. All right, you guys, I think it is about that time to throw it back to your host tonight. You guys, don't forget to give him a follow at Sammy Obeid. Also, check out his special over on Netflix, 100 Humans. You guys, give it up for Sammy Obeid.
Hey, look at that. We're at 68 now. We're peaking. We're at our new best. Okay. Yeah. Another critique I don't like is boring, right? And we've all been called boring. You can't lie here. Nobody here is that interesting that nobody has ever called you boring, you know? But I think the word boring is less of an implication about they who is called boring, but more about the person who's saying it, right? Because when you call someone boring, it's like I'm not boring. You're just not finding the nuance in this situation. Right? Like, this may bore you, okay? But there's nuance. You know what I'm saying? You got to find the nuance. It's there. It's there. You got to pull it out of people sometimes. And people often come to they'll come to my comedy shows and they'll have this attitude of like, make me laugh. Like, it's your job to make me laugh. It's like, really? It's like, really? I'm supposed to do all the effort and you're supposed to do nothing? Let's think, okay, obviously you drive there, you park the car, you make plans, you reserve the tickets, all that stuff. Okay. But I did that stuff too. I had to get here too. You think I just live at the comedy club? You think comedians are just hiding behind the curtain? Like, is it my turn yet? You know, like, I had to get here too. I had to buy a plane ticket. I had to buy a car ticket. I had to get here too. So we both had to do work to get here. Okay. And it costed time and it costed money. Okay. Now that we're here, obviously you can't say that it's all my effort and you have nothing. You can't say that. You can't say it's not. Okay. You have to be here and you have to be alive. Okay. You have to be alive. You have to stay alive for the show. Okay. So you can't come here with an impending terminal disease. You can't come here with a bomb strapped or like a Tesla truck filled with explosives. Okay. So you do have to stay alive the entire show. Okay. So that's on you. So you got to breathe. You got to breathe, obviously. Okay. Then, you know, this is obviously part me and part you. I have to say words. You have to receive them. Right. So you either have to hear them. So you either have to listen or closed captioning, or if we have an ASL interpreter, right? There has to be an open channel between my words in your brain. Okay. So obviously part of that is my enunciation. Part of that is the microphone working. Okay. These are all logistical things, but assuming these are all good, the words do need to be reaching your brain. Now, your brain is doing work, whether you know it or not. Okay. I'm giving you words, but your brain is doing work to interpret and essentially decode those words.
Yes.
Okay. That's what we do. We receive words and our brain decodes them, and the result can either be yay, you know, or it can be ew, you know, or it can be ha 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 ha, right? My job is to get the ha 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 ha, right? My job is to get the ha ha ha. So my job is to make your brain want to decode these words into ha 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 ha, right? And comedy, the thing about comedy is there's always an element of surprise, because life is filled with logic. Life is filled with, you know, this is how the world is. Things go like this. X always implies Y. And comedy, I'm like, X implies Y, implies D, implies C, implies you never know. And then you're like, whoa, it's a surprise. We're basically magicians who are not as paid as well. Okay. And yeah, they made our paycheck disappear, right? And so we have to basically give words that essentially trick your brain. It's deception. We are essentially surprising you. We're setting something up and then tricking you to thinking it's going one way, and then tricking you and then actually goes another way. So my job is to trick your brain into decoding words into ha-ha. That's my job. Now, how effective I am, obviously, that's going to depend on how good of a comedian I am. But if I don't decode, if I don't trick your brain enough to decode things in a ha-ha, you're going to get upset with me. Let's think about this. If I don't trick your brain enough, if I'm not capable of tricking your brain enough, doesn't that mean you're smarter than me? Shouldn't you be celebrating? Shouldn't that make you happy? Shouldn't you want to go, ha ha ha, I'm smarter than this clown? Right? Yeah, so maybe you're just not positive enough. Okay. The other thing to consider is too, it's like, go to a live comedy show. Obviously, we're here in the Zoom audience. You can hear two people laughing occasionally. A lot of people are unmiked. I assure you, some of them are laughing.
I'm laughing.
I would venture to guess. I hear your laughter and I love it. I would venture to guess. We have 65 people here, right? I would venture to guess that my best joke tonight, whatever. If you measure my best joke, whatever it was, based on the percentage of people who are laughing, I bet the highest that I got on any joke was 30%. And that's
There's the math. There's the math.
Yes, and it was, and I assure you, these are good. Like some of these, not all. Some of these are good jokes. Okay, but like 30%. 30% is really good in comedy. Like, go to a comedy club, go to a comedy show, look at comedians on stage doing well. Look at how many people are laughing. 30%. It's going to be like on a good night, it's going to be 30%. Ha ha ha. 30% like yeah, and then the majority of people, like 40% of people, are going to be like, and that's like 70%, and then you have like another 20% who are like. and not all of those people are unhappy. Some of those people are actually happy they're just not showing it. It's like,
oh my goodness.
But if you ask them like, hey, how are you? They're like, oh yeah, I'm good. It'll change instantly if you ask them. And then 10% of people are like, and that's just because they're, whatever, something's going on with them. That might be a problem, or they're not good at face. Okay. But basically, yeah, on a good joke gets 30% of the crowd. Okay. So keep that in mind. If at my best, I'm typically going to trick your brain into decoding things are funny 30% of the time. Okay. Now let's say I tell a joke and miraculously 70% of people laugh, which is amazing. It's been done before. It's a thing. I've done it before. Okay. and I know this because I performed in rooms of 10 and I've seen 7 people laugh. Let's say I hit 70. Let's say I hit 70% and you are not one of the people laughing. Right? Does that make me not funny, or does that make your brain broken? Let's think about it. Because if the majority of people are laughing at it, clearly we have to side with the majority in that sense, that my decoding, that I know what I'm doing, and just with the decoding, it just went awry somewhere with your brain. That's fine. You're comedy neurodivergent. That's fine. But it's like, at what percent is it not your fault anymore? Or no, what percent is it not my fault anymore? Like, let's say I get the 90, and I don't think any comedians ever got 99% laugh rate. I don't think that's ever happened. I don't think ever once in the history of stand-up comedy you've had a room of people where you have like 100 people, 1,000 people, and the comedian tells a joke and everyone is fucking dying of laughing, and there's not one psycho sociopath just like. There's always going to be that person, because no matter how much craziness and entertainment and thought-provoking, decoding madness we bring to the stage, there's always going to be one person who's just like, this is boring. So what I'm saying is find the nuance. Okay, find the nuance. And the other thing about comedy shows is it's like riding on a train. It's like taking a train from one destination to the other. You're not going to like all the jokes. Okay. Now, occasionally you will like a joke and then another joke right after and another joke right after, and you're basically riding the train at that point. You're on the train, and then you hit a joke where it doesn't work for you, and you get off the train. You're now on the platform. Okay, and now you're waiting for the next joke to basically get you back on a train. Okay, so that's kind of how the show works. You're going to get on the train, and then you're going to keep riding until one joke stops, and then you're on the platform again, and then you're waiting. You could be sometimes waiting for 15, 30, 45, sometimes an hour. Sometimes your train never comes. But eventually you get on a train, ideally train, and then it might just be one stop. It might just be like, oh, that was great. And then you're like, oh, not anymore. But at the end, you make it from one destination to the other. Now, at what point do you ask yourself, hey, maybe I should just enjoy this a little bit more, because who doesn't like a direct train? Like, why am I purposely taking all these transfers? And I'm over here, I'm just the conductor. You know what I mean? I'm this train conductor. Okay. All right. Anyways, that's all I have for that. I can feel the energy. When you do comedy about comedy, it's too meta and you basically lose half the fucking train.
Yeah.
But people are asking me to get more personal and stop doing such meta stuff. I will say a couple personal things. I haven't told anybody this, but a couple years ago, I was dating this girl who had not one, but 8 elephants tattooed on her lower back. It was a tramp stampede. Get back on the train. Get back on the train. The show's not over. Okay.
Never forget this.
All right. Okay. We're not done yet. I know that wasn't my best, but doesn't matter. Speaking of being on time, I am always late. I am chronically late. I do have that problem. In fact, I had one real job when I was younger. I worked for Morgan Stanley. I don't just shout them out, but I was basically there. And it's a banking firm, and I was always late. And the coworkers would be like you're always late, and I'd be like, yeah, but I still got the job. I'm out here, working hard, but I was too busy watching Boy Meets World and, chilling at the mall. And one day I came like not even super late, like moderately late, like really. And the boss, I don't know if it was Morgan or Stanley, I don't know which one. The boss sees me and he's like, hey. He's like, you're late. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're fired. And I got fired. I got fired for being late. But people always say, wow, the moral is that you need to learn to be on time. No. No. If I was a few minutes later, I would not have ran into him. So the irony is, yes, I was chronically late to that job, but I was on time for that firing.
Hey.
Some of these are thinkers, guys. Some of these are thinkers. I'm an ideas guy. I'm obviously working on ideas. I'm opening, and I live in Fremont, California. I'm opening a South Asian restaurant that serves very tiny portions. Micro dosa. Only a few people are going to get that. Yes. Hop on the train to Fremont, guys. Come on. But that's going to be right next to my Gen Z furniture store, IKEA. So
you need to go on Hasbara again.
I need to what? Can you say it again? I lost you.
You have to go back. You have to go back onto Bad Hasbara to take
Hasbara. Yeah. I'm going to LA in a couple weeks, and we had talked about doing it. So I probably in like a week or two.
Thank you,
That's how quickly I give you results. Okay. I don't know if you know this. My last name is Obeid, which in Arabic means servant. Okay. So I am naturally part of the servant class just by name. Some people are servants by their employer or by socioeconomic standards. I'm a servant by name. I have no fucking choice. So I'm born into this. So people always ask shit from me. Like, I guess I got to do it. I go to Whole Foods. I'm a servant who's doing okay. I shop at Whole Foods. People come up to me like, hey, can you grab that for me? It's like, well, I guess. Maybe I should stop wearing all green to Whole Foods. Maybe that's that's on me. But yes, I'm an Obeid until my Intifada. Okay, I'm an Obeid. I'm a Jan 6. That's why I'm all about Jan 6. Okay, let's see. Speaking of terrorism, let's talk about Luigi just a little bit. Okay. So yeah, that's the one thing I'm sorry about. Last month I didn't do my hour. I would have, it would have been exclusively Luigi themed. But if you haven't seen, I released 2 sets on YouTube. Shout out to Trevor who helped me edit those. I don't know if Trevor wants people to know that he also edits, but Trevor is a killer editor. Bad pun. But we really do Luigi related YouTube videos. So if you haven't seen those, you can check them out. But basically, my only takes on the Luigi thing right now are, he's hot, obviously, and I'm really now thinking like I need to get my Luigi bod for the summer because like that. Like, you have to understand, like, holiday season is the time where nobody's really thinking about chiseled abs and what you look like with your shirt off. And then this kid shoots a CEO in December, and suddenly everybody is conscious of what it's like to hike in Hawaii. Motherfucker, you're not hiking. Okay. And I if you know this about me, I'm 1/8 Italian. Okay, so I don't have a 6-pack. I have a 1-pack, but it's mathematically it's a 3/4 pack. Okay, but I got it.
Take what you can get, bro.
But I'm working on my Luigi bod, and he's hot. And people were outraged that people found him hot. They're like, he's a murderer. Like, so fucking what? Like, as if that takes away. That makes someone hotter when you really think about it. It's like, who gives a fuck? People think. People want to fuck the guy who killed the guy who fucked a lot of people. Okay. And it's like, dude, like even if Luigi never shot someone, he would have eventually slit someone's throat with that fucking jawline. You know what I'm saying? But yes.
Don't turn your head.
Oh yeah, sorry. But yes, so he's hot, whatever. And he I don't think enough attention was given to the bullet that was used to kill the CEO. The bullet had little tiny letters engraved on it.
Yes.
Deny, defend, oppose.
Yes.
Deny, defend, oppose. And you don't know how many people, when we heard that, had to look up the word depose. That's not, everybody's like, deny, I know what that is. I do it a lot, right? Defend, not capable of doing it for myself, right? And then depose. They're like, what the fuck? And depose basically means to remove someone from a position. Which is kind of weird because deny, he's talking about healthcare denials, health insurance denials. Defend, obviously he sees himself as a defender of the public, and then depose, he's removing the CEO from the position. But like those, they're related in like different ways. He's like, they denied, so I defend and depose. Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, if anybody ever assassinates me, which is a life goal, please let them know I would like engravings on my bullets. And those can be based after things that I did regularly, which were, you can say, delay, defer, and decimals. Okay, because those should be my things. Okay, but yeah, I mean, to write little letters on a bullet, I mean, that takes a it takes a lot of work. I mean, people should give, like, if he did in fact kill the CEO, which he probably did, if he killed the CEO, okay, and wrote those little letters on the bullet, like let him go. Like, he obviously really thought about it, you know. Although people it's the weird thing about Luigi is a contradiction. Like, he's anti-corporation, but like he went to Starbucks and McDonald's. But then people are like, well, no, he went to McDonald's because he wanted to get caught, ironically. because McDonald's has the Monopoly game, and Altoona, Pennsylvania is right next to the Pennsylvania Railroad. I'm like, you're
Stop.
right. But if I wouldn't put it past Luigi to do that, because obviously he put a lot of thought into this. But then he does all that to get caught and then deny that he did it. And then you're like, oh, that's why he put deny on the bullet. He denied, defend, oppose. He did all three of those things, in fact. As always, when there's a tragedy and somebody dies, I follow the basic respectful rule of comedy.
What's that?
I wait to tell a joke, and I wait exactly the amount of time that it takes my brain to think of one. Now, I did not post any jokes the first day. I think people should take that as a sign of my humanity. Okay. Did I post jokes the second day? Yes.
Hell yeah.
Did I post a video with 8 jokes in it a couple days later? Yes. Okay. Did I think anybody was going to give me shit for it? Yes. Like as in comments, but something happened I didn't expect. I got a message from a fan on Instagram, and it was I saw we had a conversation previously on Instagram, and she was like, "I'm coming to your show in Des Moines. I just bought 12 tickets." That was the last we had talked.
Whoa!
I was like, awesome. I was like, yay!
Wow!
My brain decoded that into yay. Okay.
Fabulous.
And then her next message to me was like, "You fucking asshole! You're no better than Netanyahu." Sharp turn. I was like, this was 2 days. This was 2 days before the Des Moines show. So I'm like, you haven't been to the show yet, so clearly you can't call me Netanyahu yet, right?
Right.
And I was like, that's kind. I mean, calling, especially Palestinian American, calling them Netanyahu. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. Like on the level of fucked up things, that's pretty fucked up.
Yep.
And so I was like, hey, what's going on? She's like, all those jokes you were making about the shooting. And I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, well, the guy had a family. And I'm like, I know he did. I mean, so does everybody who dies. Everybody comes from somewhere. We can't, if we start making the rule of like, I don't make fun of deaths when it involves people who had a family, like we're done. And I'm like, and I'm like, yeah, it does suck. Like, obviously it sucks to be his family. And I get that part, but like, why are you talking shit to me? Like, what are you, the defender of his family? She's like, I am his family. I was like, was not expecting that. I was like, what are the fucking chances this random fan in Iowa? Then I Google, he's from Iowa. I'm like, okay, the chances are very fucking high. And then I was like, and then obviously the humanity in me bubbled up, because there is a human under here. Okay. And I said, I'm sorry. Obviously that's really tragic, and I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah, I'm sorry that you saw these jokes, and I know you were a fan of mine, and this probably ruined it. And I'm sorry, and my condolences, and sending love. That was what I thought was the best I could do. But apparently to her, it was not my best. She was like, well, yeah, you're really making jokes, and I'm going through mourning right now. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And I was like, if you don't mind me asking, what was he to you? And she was like, he was my brother-in-law. I'm like, that's not technically family. Let's just be technically. There's family and there's in-laws. Okay, in-laws means you're married into. It's not your family. It's somebody you might become attached to. You know what I mean? And he was the CEO. It's not like you're spending a lot of time with this motherfucker. And like the other thing too is like some people like hire people to kill their in-laws. It's not, you know what I mean? So it's like, and I did look it up. Brian Thompson was married. He was married to a woman, and they were separated since 2018. They've been separated for 6 years. You know what I mean? So if anything, this wife is suspect number one. So I was like, check in with your sister. I'm bad for telling jokes. Your sister may have plotted murder. Okay, Luigi's in. But anyways, so since then I've had to start ignoring message requests, but
never too late.
But listen, I mean, you can't you can't, you can't live under a rock and not see that this situation is about the medical industry, and the medical industry is fucked in so many fucking ways. But really, this specifically is about insurance. Okay. Because everybody's like, he wasn't big pharma. He was insurance. Like, that's probably just as evil, if not more evil.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
Insurance should not be involved in medicine. This is a hot take that a lot of people will deny, defend. Okay. Insurance should not be involved in medicine. And I can prove it to you right now. I was curious. I looked up the definition of health and insurance individually. Okay. Because we all know the definition of health. We all know the definition of health insurance. It's like something expensive that you don't want to pay for because the government doesn't give it to you, right? The definition of health is the state of being free from illness or injury. Okay, I'm gonna repeat that again. The state of being free, keyword free, from illness or injury. Okay. And then the definition of insurance: a practice of or arrangement by which a company or government agency provides a guarantee of compensation for specified loss, damage, illness, or death in return of payment for a premium. What the fuck? Those are two fucking opposite terms. You're literally saying something that's free from illness, and then the next one is you're paying a premium for illness. What the fuck? People should not, there should be no health insurance, okay? This is how it should be. The reason why, you want to know why there's health insurance? The reason why there's health insurance is because people are inherently evil, and yes, we abuse doctors, right? There's a community doctor, they're just trying to help the people, and people are like, doc, what is this weird thing on my skin? It's called your face. Doctors cannot answer all of our queries. I get it. I totally get that. That's why insurance steps in. They're like, hey, we have to see if you're qualified to see this doctor's time. The problem with this is it puts the doctor in the number 2 slot. It puts the doctor the doctor should be in charge. The doctor should be like, I'm in charge. I will tell people to help. Yeah. But insurance is like, no, we'll tell you when you can take care of people.
Yeah.
Right. Like, we love you, doctor, but you're our favorite doctor after our first place favorite insurance. And this is not an ideal situation. And then the insurance is now brokering, and you have this unnecessary layer. And people often, the defense of the insurance is like, they're not making giant premiums. First of all, yes, they are. Secondly, it's a whole industry of money that's being absorbed that has nothing to do with the fact of whether we're healthy or not. That's right. And that is the problem. It is ultimately inefficiency. Where you at, Doge? Okay? If you think that insurance is going to make people's health better, take a step back and go fuck yourself in the face. Okay? Or go get a Cybertruck, okay? Because it's not heal thyself. Doctors should not be going through insurance. Doctors should be protected by bodyguards. There should be more doctors, people, so that way we raise the status of doctors. If we raise the status of doctors, more people will want to be doctors, and they just do their job, but they have bodyguards keeping us fleas away from them asking dumb questions. And that puts the doctors, that way the doctors become the boss, okay? And I call this initiative Doctors Without Orders.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm sitting down for this.
Yes, good. Okay. I only have a few things left, but I really want to quickly talk about the B vitamins. Because of all the conspiracies that are out there, this is not the one that is being talked about. And I'm surprised, because B vitamins are essential for our livelihood. Okay. Who knows how many B vitamins there are? Tell me. Put your answers in the chat. How many are there?
12. 12.
Wrong.
5.
Wrong. There's 8.
7.
There's 8 or 17, depending on who you're asking.
If you asked me, I would have said 20.
That's not 8 or 17, depending on who you're asking. That's not an answer you should be giving. Okay, that's like me when I had my fake ID. It is not. So if you look up B vitamins, there's B1, which is thiamine. There's B2, which is riboflavin. B3, which is niacin. Then B5, pantothenic acid. And you're like, what the fuck happened to B4? What the fuck happened to B4? And you're like, clearly there was something there before this.
Why?
And you're like, that's already fucking with your mind, right? You're like, fucking with your mind, right? And then you got B6, pyridoxine, B7, biotin, B8, B9, folate. What the fuck happened to B8?
Wish I had a V8.
Yes, V8. B8 was in V8. The old tomato drink.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
B8. Well, the thing is, if you put B next to 8 and you sound it out, it's bait. They're baiting you. Okay. So then what's next? B12, cobalaminum. It's weird. Who would have fucking thought? B12. Talk about all the time. If you're vegan, you're supposed to take a supplement, B12. It's called cobalaminum. Who would have fucking knew that? Where the fuck did B10 and B11 go? So now you're missing 2. Earlier, you were just jumping 1. Now you're jumping 2. What is this, the Fibonacci sequence?
Previously on Grey's Anatomy.
So I looked it up. And apparently there is a B4, there is a B8, there is a B10, there is a B11. Get this, there's a B13, 14, 15, 16, fucking 17.
Of course there is.
And they used to be all part of the B vitamin family. But what happened? Science changed its mind and basically Plutoed them. And basically said, you are not vitamins anymore. We have decided that you're not vitamins. And I was like, how disrespectful to these former active bees. And to me, I was like, you know what? And they go unnamed. I was like, say their names. Say their names. So I looked it up. B4, adenine. Okay. B8, inositol.
Inositol.
B10, pterodoxymonoglute. I was like, fuck it. I gave up. I don't need to know their names. But I need to know why they left. And I need to know if they're ever coming back because Pluto came back. At some point, science said, actually, we were wrong twice. Pluto was in it. At which point do we say, you know what? Actually, B11, salicylic acid, does belong in the B vitamin family. And I find it shockingly coincidental that this B1, B2, B3, B4 is all happening when Southwest is removing its letter system.
Tyson for the vitamins.
Yes. So what I'm saying is always ask questions. Always ask questions.
The doctors.
Yes. What was happening before? Okay. All right. I don't have a lot of time left, but I gave myself, okay, sometimes I get high and right, and I give myself assignments that I should not. I gave myself the assignment of, I said, you're going to pick up a calculus book and you're going to pick a random theorem and make it funny. And my fingers took me to mean value theorem. Okay. So first of all, if you're a math nerd, make some noise in the chat. If you like mean value theorem, we're at 60 right now. We're going to drop down to 30. If you don't know what mean is, don't worry about it. All right. So okay, I'm going to try to explain this to the best of my abilities because it's actually mean value theorem. Mean value theorem is not crazy at all. It's actually very simple. It just, you have to really wrap your head around it. Okay, so mean value theorem is you have a graph, right? You have a function on a graph. Let's just say it's a, I don't know if you guys see me left to right or which way, but like let's say, imagine a graph that goes up. You know, you got a curve that's just going up. Okay, let's just do a simple graph like that. Okay. Basically, mean value theorem says if this graph has a derivative between these 2 points A and B, So we're looking at the x-axis between A and between B, and we're looking at the graph on that interval. And we're saying, if this function is differentiable on that interval, which just means it has a derivative, and having a derivative just means it basically implies the function is really smooth and you can measure the slope of the curve at any fucking point. That's all that means. Okay?
That's one.
You're saying if it satisfies that, and you look at where it starts and where it ends. So, and we're in this case we're choosing a graph that goes up. It could go down, but we're choosing one that goes up. Okay. You look at where it starts and where it ends, and you look at it basically make a rectangle out of it. And you look at the length and the height of that rectangle. You basically say, and you basically in that rectangle you could draw a straight line from that point to that, from that start point to that end point. You could draw a straight line from that start point to that end point, and basically it's kind of like the hypotenuse of a triangle. And ironically, I was high, pot was in use during this joke. Okay? and so basically that rectangle that you make, or that triangle that you make, has a slope, right? Straight line. And again, we're looking at a graph, point A to point B. The graph went like this and went woo woo, but it eventually made it up, and you're looking at a straight line. And it's basically the net result of where you ended on that interval. You started here, but you ended there, and your slope was like this, okay? Mean value theorem says that somewhere on that interval, you can take the derivative of the function. There exists a point where you can take that derivative, and the slope will equal exactly what that ultimate slope is, the slope that you eventually had from point A to point B. Okay, it's maybe I'm not explaining it the best, but basically, like, again, if you start here and you end here, you on average, you basically were going like this, okay? And mean value theorem says that, in fact, somewhere on that curve, there was a point where you were, in fact, working at that rate, okay? That's mean value theorem, okay? It's actually not that profound. It basically says, if you get somewhere, it's because you were heading at that rate at some point. Okay. And so think about this in life. Okay. You can think about it in terms of wealth. You can think, if you look at life as like accumulated good things that you've made over the years, or bad, if you want to think negative like that, you can do that too. If you think of life as like accumulated good things over the years, like, oh, I've done all this, I've accomplished this, like accomplishments or like wealth or like things, that you measure as success. And you started at zero. We all start at zero. When we're babies, we're at zero. And then you make all these accomplishments and you get here on your deathbed and you die here. Now, obviously, everybody has a different life curve. Some people go down after they're born, right? They go negative, right? Some people go up and then they drop off. Some people make it really, really high and then they have a shitty last few years. Some people have a really shitty life, and at the end, it just poof goes up at the end. So everybody has their own curve. But at some point, you basically clock out, you clock in your clock out point, and you look, well, my average slope was this. For most people, it's going to be positive. Your average slope is going to be like this. And mean value theorem says there was a specific point on your journey in which you were working at that exact rate.
Yep. Yep.
How many people are still here? 59. So basically it says, if you have a certain amount of success, it means because at some point you were in fact working towards it. Okay. Now a corollary of this is basically a corollary of this proof, which means basically something we can conclude from it.
Yes.
Is that if you choose to work at a steady rate your whole life, you are eventually going to achieve exactly what you work towards. Think about that. Mean value theorem tells us that if you spend the most of your time working at one rate, you're ultimately going to achieve the results of that rate. There's not going to be any funny business where things are going to be taken away. Okay. Like if you are a CEO, for instance, and you were a good CEO and you work really, really hard, you're going to get there. Okay. But if you're a bad CEO, you might end up, but, yes. And basically, so basically life's filled with ups and downs, but basically you get what you work towards. Okay. I find this very profound. Maybe it's not that funny. Okay. I think if you don't find it funny, I would argue that you're not finding the nuance in it. and at least maybe you don't find it funny, but it's profound. And if you don't find it profound, it's because you're fucking stupid. and now you might be like, Sammy, wow, that was rude. That's mean value theorem.
Oh, yeah.
There is sometimes value in being mean. Okay. If anything, comedy is proof that mean value theorem is real, because comedy is the one event where being mean actually creates a net positive. And then so I was like, okay, maybe they won't like that one. So I'm like, let me do one about the formula for gravitation. Okay.
Oh, all right.
This one's getting much shorter, guys. 59 people, please stay.
Physics nerds in the house.
Basically, the formula for gravitation basically says that if there's two objects, there is a formula that can tell you the exact force shared between those objects.
Yes,
and if you didn't know this in physics, two objects that have mass have an attraction. No matter what their mass is, no matter how far apart they are, every object in this fucking universe has a force of attraction to another object. Okay.
Yes.
Now, obviously, where does your mind go? Romance.
Of course.
Romance. Every human being has a level of attraction to another being. Now, it can vary, just like gravitation. But the formula for gravitation is, put it in the chat if you want, it's F equals G times little m times big M over R squared, okay? Little m being the mass of one object, big M being the mass of another object, G being a constant, which is already predetermined, over R squared, R being the distance between you two. Okay, so it's inversely proportional to this. So obviously, you're not going to meet the love of your life if they're 7,000 miles away from you and you don't see them. Okay. And yes, thank you. So now G is a constant in physics that basically tells us what the force of gravitation is. My belief is for every human being to another human being, everybody has their specific constant, right? Certain people, you might have a higher gravitation constant for them, right? And, you know, your masses might affect it because, you know, you might be into bigger people and that might make you more attracted, you know. You might be into smaller people, that might be whatever. But the distance is inverse. The masses are direct. The constant is a constant that's predetermined between you and a person. Now, what I'm saying is everybody has a certain level of attraction to one another. Now, there's a reason why people don't end up, okay? And that is simply because of friction. Okay? Because that's the laws of the universe. You can have strong attraction to an object, but if there's other objects pulling you away, like you're in other relationships, right? Or if there's friction preventing you from going to the path of this other object, it's never going to happen. So what I'm saying is, if you have feels for somebody, but they don't reciprocate, you can always say to others, oh, we have strong chemistry. Strong attraction. She just has a lot of friction going on. Really just needs to work on that friction.
The only thing you got to work on, bro.
Out here smooth sailing. All right. Okay. All right. Let me finish. I will finish this off in just one moment. Hope to see you guys on the road sometime. I will be back next month doing another goal. And maybe you've been to my previous hours, and maybe this was not my best. I don't. That's not how I think. I'm not trying to be the best. I'm not trying to be anybody's favorite. I'm just trying to be funnier than my Arab uncles. Because if you know Arab uncles, they're always cracking jokes. They always think they're the funniest, and I just have to be funnier than them. And the jokes are never that great. They're usually just really lowbrow. I remember one time, I was an adult. I had just gotten back. Me and my friend went on a hike, and I said, "Hey, me and my friend, we just went and watched the sunset on the hill." And he's like, "You guys are the gays." A little homophobic too, right? So I was like, I was like, no, I'm like, no, like just because I watched the sunset with my boy doesn't make us the gays. Okay. It's actually the sun gays.
Oh, Lord. I hope he wasn't sitting down. I hope you felt him with that.
I recently found out my cat's homophobic because my cat, who's also happens to be a male, he, him, same. We're on the same page on that. He loves me, always, wants my attention, but the moment I go in for a kiss, he's like, nah, bro, that's gay. Like, every time. He just gives me that look. He's like, nah, bro, like, you thought it was like that? It's not like that. He'll like rub against my leg. He'll sit in my lap. He'll be sitting in my lap and just look at me like that. But then the moment I go in for a kiss, he's like, nah, bro, that's gay. I was like, bro, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, what's wrong? He's like, to you. I was like, whoa. Dude. Nobody prepares you for when you find out your cat's homophobic. But I guess that's just proof that, like, if you hate gay people, you're a pussy.
His head is down. His head is down in shape. Now he's a clear one.
I know. Okay, let me just do.
In shame.
I should have closed on that. That would have been
better when you were mean, Mr. Obeid.
But I do need to say a few serious things, just because that I know I will. Well, let me do 3 more things that I got to say something serious, and then I'll close this off. Okay. I love giving things away, but whenever I give things away, I leave them in places that people will steal them, so they think they're stealing it, but I'm actually giving it away. And I'm actually doing this for humanity, because I don't know if you've ever stolen something. Don't fucking lie, you have. Stealing gives you such a fucking head rush, right? So not only am I giving back to the community, but I'm having them get that adrenaline along with it. So I'm leaving things with high value on the street. I put "don't take," and then people take it. Is it me, or did cops used to be more overweight and now they're not anymore?
Yes.
Remember back in the day, we could be like, "Oh, look at these pigs; they can't run."
Body armor, no, it's body armor.
Yeah, well, and like I guess they're probably not eating enough because the pay has gone down. So like they're like cops like intermittent fasting.
Instead of stuff, it's all snacks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I recently saw a cop. I'm like, dude, that guy could fucking beat the shit out of me without any weapons. Can you believe it? Let's see. I can't read this one. One commonality about the 2 terror attacks on January 1st is that they both rented cars from Turo.
Oh no!
So it actually, in fact, is tourism. By the way, my next, I came up with my new what's it called? Tour name. It's Domestic Tourist. I'm really excited about that one. Announce that next week. Okay, I don't normally do like bathroom humor, but I don't think this is bathroom humor. Isn't it interesting that air trapped inside of our body at some point, depending on where it is in the digestive tract, has to make a decision like, am I going to become a burp or a fart? Am I going up or am I going down? You know what I mean?
That's right.
Because that's what it is. Like at some point, the air, it makes that choice, but it's like, am I gonna have to go brace the acid, or am I gonna see some shit? You know what I mean? Honestly, people have, people think farts are just like gross things that happen in our bowels. Like, I think farts are actually bacteria communicating with each other.
Awesome.
I think when a person farts, those bacteria are trying to communicate with someone else's gut. and then if the bacteria like each other, then those people have strong attraction. Yep. And if you don't like that, it's because you don't appreciate the C word culture.
Almost there.
Okay. All right. So those were the ones that I wanted to do. Can't read that. Can't read that.
That one's too mean.
That one's too mean. That one is you actually, you know me too well. That one's not my best. Okay. So I guess I'll end with a serious part. Maybe not the best way to end the show, but good friend of mine passed away last month. His name is Kabir Singh. If you were an original KO comedy cadet, you would have known. He was part of the original when we opened this comedy club that I live at. He was there. He was the K in KO comedy. Kind of. My dad's name is also Kamal, and that's my initials. But Kabir always thought it was him. I told him it was him. He passed away in his sleep last month, and it was really sad, tragic. Because he probably the closest person I knew that that passed away, and. I'm a comedian. I have to keep my spirits and continue making jokes, but like losing someone that close, to me, it was hard. I couldn't even, nothing was funny until I realized that like, dude, like of all the people he knew and were in his life, like he owed me the most money. And I have to take that to the grave. Kabir, me and Kabir, we had a special relationship. Like he started comedy after me, and I helped him like get his foot in the game. And I always told him his jokes were shit. Like that was my thing. I would always tell him his jokes were shit. And then he ended up becoming an absolute monster comedian. And I would like to say it was because of my negativity. And Kabir, we had this loving adversarial relationship. Like whenever I would bomb and he would be there, he would always be, anytime there would be dead silence, he would be laughing. You could just hear his loud laugh in the back of the room. And it was perfect. It was perfect because it just goes to show that like, even when nobody else finds it funny, there's always that 1%. And he found the nuance in me. He got it. And a lot of people don't know that he influenced me more than anyone else because he got so good in his first 2-3 years that he ended up becoming a headliner faster than I did. And he, the first year or two, because he started about a year after me, and he was opening for me for those first 2 years. And then he became a headliner because he was so good. And I started opening for him in my 3rd, 4th year. And there was, in my 3rd or 4th year, I was going to kind of a dip in comedy. Things weren't going as good as I wanted to. I wasn't hitting those 30% batting averages. I was hitting more like 5-10%. And I decided that I needed to get good. And I ended up doing comedy 1,000 days in a row. And it was something that I did, and I decided to do it, and it made me better. It made me the comedian that I am now. And people are always asking me, like, why did you do 1,000 days? And there's never like a straight answer. Like, it just kind of was something that evolved. But I recently thought long and hard about it. There was a triggering event that made me start that whole thing. And it was, there was a night in San Jose, me and Kabir did a show, and I hosted and he headlined. And I did well. I did fine. I did good enough. But he absolutely slayed. He killed it. And one of our friends from high school who hadn't seen us in a while, because me and Kabir went to the same high school. We didn't know each other at the time. In fact, I hated him in high school. But an old friend of ours, he came to the show, and this was like 13 years ago. Remember back when like you would comment on people's walls on Facebook, that weird sociopathic thing that we used to do. And, like now you just DM people like a fucking adult. Yeah. But back in the day, you would post on their wall like the weirdest shit.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And the thing about the wall is it's like public. So it's like, oh, here's what I want to tell. Here's what I want everybody to know that I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Now we just do it as comments, right? But this guy who went to our high school, he commented on Kabir's. He said, he was like, oh, wow, man, I'm so glad I came to the show tonight. You were the best by far. Now these didn't pass my sensitivity test. He could have just said, hey, you were the best tonight, close, second place to Sammy. I'm used to that. But he said by far. He had to put by far. And he put it in all caps too, which actually hurt a little bit more. But those words triggered me so much. Carrie, you probably were at the show.
Yeah, I think I did.
And yeah, they didn't have In-N-Out back then. And so those words triggered me so much that I was like, I need to get back. I can't just be by far worse than everybody else. So I was like, I want to at least be on a level playing field. So I decided I need to perform every night, and I ended up doing 1,000 days in a row. And I never really told anybody that. And really this was a trend that continued our whole career. Like when NBC's Stand Up for Diversity picked comics, they picked Kabir, they didn't pick me. When AGT was doing its rounds a couple years ago, they picked Kabir, they didn't pick me. When we went to the Big Sky Festival in Montana, they picked Kabir, they didn't pick me. Oh, that was Montana. It was fun. But it seemed like every time there was a big opportunity and we did it together, they picked Kabir. And I will say it tested my ego. It was painful at the time, but it made me work hard just to kind of feel like I could be as funny as Kabir. And I wish I could tell him that today. I wish I could, tell him that he's really the reason why I've worked so hard. He's the reason why I didn't just chill at the mall and, chilling, like Vivek Ramaswamy said. He's the reason why I have the work ethic I do, because every time we did something, it was just like people would always say it was Kabir and he would get chosen. And that is why I killed him. I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah. Tough stale. But that if Kabir was here and nobody laughed at that joke, I know he would be in the
I killed him, Your Honor.
Yeah. But anyways, this is why I need to stop taking words so seriously. But R.I.P. Kabir. He was a KO comedy legend, and we will always honor him. We're having a memorial show for him on January 27th at Tommy T's in Pleasanton. If you were a Kabir fan and you live in the Bay Area or know people, let them know. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming to Sammy Insurrects 3 hours. Thank you so much, 56 survivors, for making it through. I think this was a record length of keeping that many people retention rates. Amazing. I think I got my 70% finally. I appreciate you guys. I love you so much. I'll see you next month, and hopefully see you on the road. Oh, also, if you liked a certain joke or had a favorite joke, put it in the chat so I can add it to my notes. Love you guys.
Love you, Sammy.
Give it up for Sammy, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Don't forget to give him a follow at Sammy Obeid if you haven't already. And I am just going to give a few more shout outs. You guys have been awesome tonight. You guys give it up for Kimberly dropping $15. Thank you so much, Kimberly. We're going to drop you right here. Also, you guys, give it up for Distribute Catfish. I love the name, dropping $20. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. We'll put you right here. Also, you guys, give it up for Abigail Hydrangea Brown, dropping $10 on the board. Thank you so much, Abigail. We appreciate you so much. Also, you guys, give it up for Abe and Nicole, dropping $15 on the board. Thank you so much, Abe and Nicole. We're just going to cover up me. We're going to make room happen. Here we go. And then, yes, we're just going to make it happen. Give it up for Mia, also dropping $10 on the board. Thank you so much, Mia. Thank you guys so much. We will definitely, but we're doing this again. We do this every week. Not the Sammy Dies an Hour, but we do shows every night here on KO Comedy. I will be back on Friday night with KO Friday. And before that, we'll have the Digital Slumber Party with Anthony Kapfer and Amber Irish tomorrow night. and sets with Dustin Chafin and Leah Bottomup on Thursday night. So come on through, you guys. It's been a blast. We will see you later. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. Woo. Great show, guys. Thanks, Annie. Thanks, Sammy.
Absolutely. Super fun.
Thank you.